Well. That is how Bears-Packer games go. Fourth quarter collapse. That's how the season's gone, too. Bears lose. Aaron Rodgers gets a win. CHGO Bears Postgame Show. Welcome in. We are presented by DraftKings. Use code CHGO. Just look at how happy Greg Braggs is. Look at him. He's so happy. He's not, though. He's not.
He's so happy.
Put your mic. Your mic.
He's so happy that I have accidentally screwed up the shot. I got to raise it up here so we can see his dumb face.
Yeah, that is a lot of the crazy Foco sweater. And not
see these two thumbs? They equal the second pick in the draft, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I am completely fine with the outcome. Everybody in here, quit crying.
No one's crying, for the record. Although I might start to cry.
Some crying.
Actually, Kevin's crying, and I'm kind of.
Kevin took it the hardest.
Kevin took this game pretty hard.
I respect it.
Oh my God, he
I'm
was
not
so upset.
Shaming Bears fans for their DNA. I'm just don't shame me.
He was
because
just
I'm coming with logic. The meatball
everything
finally has some logic.
Okay, can we? I want to set a ground rule right now. Once again, nobody is debating that losing is probably better for the long term. And that it is probably a good thing to see the Bears' record now. The Packers are 2 games better than the Bears record-wise. It would be pretty hard for the Packers to have a better draft pick than the Bears at this point.
Correct.
No question that's a good thing. I still think the how matters, the how they lose. Everybody's celebrating tank win
again. You're not going to lose perfectly 14 times in a season.
But this is what I'm saying.
They've lost perfectly a few times this year. You're not going to lose perfectly 14 times this year.
Forget about losing perfectly. You, for the zillionth time this year, had a chance in the fourth quarter to win the football game, and you lost it. It's not... You cannot
look at that as positive.
You cannot put roses on a turd for the zillionth time on that. And I'm not going to say that it was Justin Fields' fault, because I think that Equiminius St. Brown did not run a great route. But your quarterback, who we all believe in, who I believe in, throwing an interception and then throwing another one in the fourth quarter, I'm sorry, that's not something that I can sit here right now and celebrate and not just underline. This is why he needs to play. These experiences have to happen. He has not mastered the part of throwing the football. He had his best day throwing it, 20 of 25, and we'll get the Fields guide in a second. But I still don't think when you have a chance to win, and you looked at me like I was crazy when like, oh, here it comes. I'm like, here what comes? Like, here exactly what we saw is going to come. They have had their opportunities, and they just have not done it, and that's not great. I'm sorry. It just isn't.
What's the record now in the fourth quarter? We had that stat a couple weeks ago. It was like 0-7 or something like that. 7 chances to win. Is it now 8? Is it
right? And they've had 7 or 8 games that they could have won and lost at the end, most of which they had a lead in at some point.
The players are not trying to tank. They're trying to win, and this is what's happening.
They are not trying to tank.
The coaches are too.
Right, that too.
Like, I'm willing to even grant you that most of these players aren't going to be here.
We think the coaches aren't trying to tank.
Some of the coaching in that game was...
Luke Getsy had an awful day. Because to me, on the third down play, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a bunch today, but on the 3rd and 5, when the Bears settle for a field goal to take the lead, how they do not throw that ball there and give your franchise quarterback a chance to win the game and make a play himself is inexcusable. He did it in the Giants game where they punted on 4th and 2, and then waited to get the ball back. Valus eventually fumbled. They lose the Giants game. It's more than a few times he has not put the ball in the hands of your best player to make a play, either fail or succeed. He hasn't done that. And then on the final drive, when the Bears, or the final deciding drive for Justin Fields, when they're going down to try to either kick a field goal or score a touchdown to win the game, they get within scoring range. They're crossing midfield, and all they really have to, they don't pass it on 3rd and 5, and then when they get in a situation where they're getting to the 2-minute warning or under 2 minutes, and they just need to run the ball and get into field goal range, milk the clock so Rodgers doesn't have a chance to beat you, they pass it. And Justin Fields throws an interception. It's a bad ball, but it's also not a great route by St. Brown. So Luke Getsy didn't have a great day. He also needs to develop too. I get it. It's not pretty. You're not going to say those moments are great, but at the same time, they've lost 8 close games because they have a talent deficiency. You're always going to be on the wrong side of a close game when you have this big of a talent gap. And when you add that talent gap, you will then be on the right side of it. The Eagles are a great example of this, of just completely flipping the script. Now they can't be beaten because they put a huge influx of talent on that team, and now they cannot be beaten. Let's get that talent here, and we will start being on the right side of most of these 8 close games.
Welcome to the CHGO Bears Postgame. We are fired up. We are ready to go. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, and Greg Braggs, who is obviously taking Luke Getsy in a blame game today, apparently. But let's start with your Fields guide.
Give me 30 seconds.
All right, well, we do have a super chat from Austin Cole, then we'll get to our Fields guide. Getsy situational play calling equals
Dookie. That means poop.
That would be the old number 2.
I was like, am I reading that right?
I just don't. The 3rd and 5 was bothersome, but let's just go back to earlier in the game. Let's have a basic understanding of things. Correct me if I'm wrong. Justin Fields has a separated shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
All right, he had torn ligaments. He had he didn't play last week, right? All that happened. It's 3rd and 1. It's in the first quarter. You're running a quarterback sneak?
Yeah, I didn't like that.
What are you doing, dude?
Yeah, I didn't like that either.
What are we paying attention to the franchise? I don't get it. That's unbelievable to me. Hand the ball off to your running back, and he'll either get it or he won't. Winning doesn't matter.
Yeah. Or run the one they ran earlier with Cole Kmet. Didn't Cole Kmet have a quarterback sneak earlier?
Literally anything. Yeah. That play call. It's like, are we? And then it also, there was a couple of design runs, and okay, fine, I get it, but dude, a quarterback sneak. Come on, man. That's just. I mean, imagine if he got hurt on that. He comes out of the pile up and he's grabbing his left shoulder. I mean, what are you doing?
I agree with you. All right, let's get to our Fields guide presented by Green Ridge Farm. Had some Green Ridge Farm at the tailgate today. Jalapeno cheddar. Oh, so good. So good. Check them out. Justin Fields. Look, this was actually a good passing game. This is the interceptions at the end of the game suck. They are part of the equation. We will talk about it all.
Just the first one, more so than the second.
I honestly haven't even seen a replay of the second one yet. But look, he was throwing the ball today. He had some dimes downfield. He was going through his progressions. I think this was a good quarterback day for Justin Fields. He finishes 20 for 25. I'm sorry, can you throw the graphic back up there? I didn't read it off.
Sure.
I haven't gotten through
it's
it.
It's such a beautiful graphic.
Yeah, I mean, look at how he's given us that beautiful pose.
Are you not entertained?
That's his Chris Angel pose.
254 yards, guys. That's more in the passing yards department than typically he's had this season. I think that's his season high.
We said that on the pregame.
And then rushing, he had 71 rushing yards, almost all of which came on his 56-yard touchdown run.
Gale Sayers.
First quarterback ever to have 3 50-plus yard rushing touchdowns in the history of the NFL for their career. Not for a season.
That's crazy.
Which he did in one season, but for any player in the history of the NFL. Mike Vick, Lamar Jackson, none of them. Justin Fields, most 50-yard touchdown rushes ever.
Randall Cunningham.
Randall
is why
Cunningham.
I don't want
any of
to.
them.
This is why I don't want to waste these moments.
It's not a waste.
But here's just the reality: he's not going to have that top end third gear speed or whatever you want to call it.
That's true.
Forever.
That's true.
Health or not, it's going to go away at some point, it's
to that point.
I'm talking about. I'm not saying his running ability. I'm saying when he breaks in the clear, he's gone.
Gone.
Because those DBs can't catch him. That top end gear is not always going to be there.
He reached 20.15 miles per hour today. I believe it's the most 20-plus mile per hour rushes since 2018. I believe. Yeah,
he'll have it for at least the next 4 years, Adam.
Let's hope.
I don't.
I think the most important thing was his growth as a passer today, and I think it sucks that it didn't come through in the fourth quarter. I didn't think the play calling helped him at times. It's almost like the let Russ cook thing. There's moments in that game where he's 14 to 16, he's hitting all his receivers, and then you're running on 3rd and 5. Now, the only thing is maybe there's a check in there and he's reading the box and he checked to a run. They have run the ball on 3rd and medium a lot this season, which has been frustrating at times. But, man, it just seemed like a missed opportunity.
It's a bad check.
Well,
but
it might not be based on their rules. You know what I mean? If he read the box and checked to a run because that's what they teach him.
Then they need to get into the situational.
I agree. Then don't run one of those plays.
Yeah, do not. We're throwing it no matter what.
I'm still hung up on the interception. I mean, St. Brown, it looks like he's trying to stop for 8 miles, and it's not a good route. Komet's wide open on the play. You're moving down the field. To your point, to Braggs,
run the ball.
At that point, you are in control. You can you can start winding a little bit of clock, going to a strength in David Montgomery. You could have done that too, but there is a, and I'm not, listen, I think it's very clear that Justin has the talent to do it, and that ultimately, eventually, I will bet on the fact that he will do it as far as sitting back, throw the football, lead the Bears to wins in the fourth quarter. But, and we all get that it's way better for the Bears to be sitting comfortably in that 2 spot as they go into the bye, and we'll see what the final 4 weeks bring. But it's in the moment. It was disappointing to see it happen once again. Period. End of story. And even the last pick, I would just come on, man, get in the end zone and let's have a fighting chance and do an onside kick. I would have liked to have seen that. Didn't happen.
Yeah, I don't disagree. And for all my actively rooting for this number 2 pick, I'm not rooting against Justin Fields' success or rooting for the Bears' failure. If Justin Fields is going to do something dynamic and win a game with his arm or his legs in the clutch moments, I'm not going to fight it. It's going to annoy me, but I'm not going to fight it. I'd be totally happy for him doing it. But at the same time, it doesn't worry me about whether or not he's going to be capable of it moving forward. Jalen Hurts looked like a flawed quarterback last year. Now he has all the time in the world in the pocket. He has all these receivers at his display. He's just throwing it up to A.J. Brown. Touchdown time. They're 11-1. Get this dude talent, and they will roll teams.
Let's get the super chat here from Austin. $5. Appreciate you, Austin.
Great to see you today, Austin.
Yeah, and he got the Foco hoodie, too.
What up,
Congrats,
Austin?
Fields has 2 bad throws. One he throws behind Claypool on a screen. The other is his first INT. Otherwise, he balled out. I guess I got to rewatch the second interception. Why was that not on him?
Well, I just
Is it
think
just the situation.
the game. I mean, it's a
I don't
because
think
I would disagree on the situation. You need a field goal there.
I don't think Austin's right about the second interception. That is very much, I think, on Fields. But
situationally, you have to score twice. You got to know right there that you cannot throw a pick. You have to just get your team in field goal range. You kick a field goal, then you do an onside kick. It's your only chance of winning.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I'm just more. The first pick's more egregious because of the situation.
The biggest thing that bothered me on the final drive was the timeout by Matt Eberflus. You get a first down. You've got 3 timeouts. The ball is across midfield, and you burn a timeout. So now you only have 2. Dude, you need all 3 of your timeouts. you are going to score. You are going to do an onside kick. You may or may not get it. You most likely are not going to get it. Then you have your 3 timeouts. You call each 3 of them because your defense all of a sudden stops the Packers, which of course wasn't going to happen, but that's how you would normally play a football game. Then you get the ball back. Fields has got to run up there, spike the ball, and get into field goal range, and or if you want to go all the way down and try to score a touchdown. You can't call a timeout there. That's not understanding game situation. That's a first-year head coach.
Well, and that's where I have concerns. Like, you haven't been in these situations.
But I don't get it. Like, we're sitting right here.
I know, but this is what I'm talking about. So why these games still matter. Everyone's like, just lose. And it's like, so we're just going to get to week 3 next year when the team might be better, and then they're going to be in a tight game against the Packers again. And then, like, are we going to know if Matt Eberflus and Luke Getsy know how to handle this?
Right. I
mean, it's serious. Like,
I got it. Like, exactly. The games matter, and it matters that you can't play Fields if he's hurt, but who knows what they did to get him on the field today. But we did not see any signs of him being hurt. None.
Yeah, which is why I don't have a problem with him playing.
Which is why he needs to play.
Okay,
he needs to play.
So situation.
The Duke with $199.99 super chat.
$199.99 from the Duke, our guy. This week and next week's contribution. Thank you, Duke. He knows there's a bye week. He's hooking us up. Winning this game today continues a cycle of winning in a lost year with a new coach followed by years of Packers beating us. This breaks the cycle. Fields grew. We keep a high draft pick in a QB-rich draft and can get a haul. Today's a big win. Your thoughts?
If you want to go completely glass half full, that's it. And that's where he's at. And
Love you, Duke.
And you can make the argument that Justin Fields did not have to have that fourth quarter drive for today for him to be able to do it next year. That's all. That you could absolutely say that. Right. But what I was hoping for, though, was that they went down, scored a touchdown with 38 seconds left, if we're talking about the tank, and then the defense just didn't hold Aaron, and we lost by 1. I would have much rather seen that than what happened.
Yeah. I got to say, I thought this – what did I end up picking this one? 27-24 or something like that? But that was kind of before we even knew Fields was going to play when I submitted that. This is a team that before Fields got hurt was averaging 30-plus points per game. You know, I don't like they stalled out at 19. Right? That was the final score?
Yeah.
19?
Yeah.
They scored 3 points in the second half. The Packers outscored the Bears 25-3 after the Bears took a 16-3 lead. I don't like that. I mean, to me, that's not. It's only a win in the sense that the Bears kept their draft positioning and that there was mostly a good day and there was some growth from Fields throwing the ball. But as a whole, I'm with you. Like, I would have much rather see one more touchdown drive. Like, they did not score a touchdown in the second half of this football game.
Right. And the touchdown that they scored earlier, by the way, like, okay, one of them's on a Fields miracle, right? I mean, which is not a miracle for him, but like Fields ridiculous. So it's not like a methodical drive that you can actually rely on, that you can really plan, and this is how it's going to happen. I mean, sure, he's going to do that stuff, and that's why he's elite, and that's why we love him. But like, you want to see the offense methodically go down the field and know they can do it. They have not hit it yet. They just haven't.
So the answer is they still have a long way to go in situational football. Luke Getsy, Matt Eberflus maybe with his timeouts.
Did I cut you off?
Justin Fields was situational, in the clutch moments, just taking the game over by himself. But the reason I'll just continue to be optimistic, Matt Eberflus has a defense that has a ton of holes, 0 pass rush, playing great defense. Eddie Jackson's out for the year. Josh Blackwell is out there making plays.
He was phenomenal.
Phenomenal. So the secondary was balling for most of the game until the end. The offense has put up points in a lot of these games. At one point, they were putting up 30 points a game for like 6 straight games. They beat the brakes off New England in New England, outcoached Bill Belichick. Justin Fields has developed. You have to give the coaching staff, as much as Justin Fields is doing a lot of this stuff on his own, the coaching staff does deserve credit for unlocking that with Justin Fields. This is a team effort. I understand Justin gets the most of the credit for that. But these are the positives to take away. Yes, situational football is still yet to be determined. But I'm not going to say because of their failures this year that equals failures of next year. You can learn from your failures, and sometimes you learn better from your failures than success that is, luck at times, or however you want to say it. Even if it isn't luck, you can learn from your failures just as much as your success. So that's just where I stand on it. I refuse to be negative about this team going. I believe they are going to be a really fun team next year.
Right.
Because that second overall pick, they're going to be able to draft all 10 of their holes with it.
They have a ton of money, and that number 2 pick. What's going on? And what's going on behind me? I'm scared. Staley's going to attack me.
That's all good. We just have, someone living their life.
Bear is going to attack me for not being.
I should have brought the bear suit today. It would have been really warm.
It's not. Oh my God! It's not. No one. You don't have to be mad that they lost the game. It's everything else. I'm just looking for other answers.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I hate to break it to you. Now they have a kicker question. Where the hell did that come from?
Yeah.
They're creating more questions than they are answers. That's the issue. I'm glad they're going to have this magical number 2 overall pick that fixes everything.
Maybe.
But that's the reality is it's not. They still have to get more answers.
Oh, I get it.
The coaches are creating more questions than answers right now.
I disagree. I think the way they've had this defense has so many holes, and they played really well today. How your expectations can only go so far.
They gave up 25 out of the last 28 points. They did not play well.
Gregory, I recommend that you hold your position here, but you would agree that Luke Getsy didn't have a great game today, correct?
Luke Getsy did not have a great game
did the Flus have a good game today?
But at the same time, if you're going to say Justin Fields had his best passing day of the year, Luke Getsy also is a part of that credit.
So
only when Justin Fields does great things, Luke Getsy gets none of the credit.
Okay, that's a fair point that Getsy gets some credit to Fields' best day, which, by the way,
I'm not sure it was his best day, by the way.
They ran it less because the one was just a 55-yard run, and then after that, it's not like they were running him like crazy.
Numbers-wise, it was his best day. It was the most yards that he's thrown for, which, by the way, if we're talking about that, the most yards that he's thrown for, what do you have today, 250 what?
256?
254? 254 is the most that they've had all year. That's not enough. We all know that. We all agree on that, right? So if we're looking, that could be possibly something that to factor in as far as how Luke Getsy is getting credit or not getting credit for developing the quarterback. Flus.
They also didn't run the ball that well today.
Yeah, and
despite
it doesn't. Let me just say this: it doesn't matter overall in the grand scheme of things, but Green Bay now has 787 wins. The Bears have 786. Green Bay has now beaten Green Bay has now beaten the Bears 8 consecutive times. And that game, did it not feel like a Bears win for a large part of it?
Yeah, I'm honestly shocked that it ended up turning.
Yeah, and it felt like they were going to win, and they lost
because they collapsed again.
Right. Which is a problem.
And that not bothersome? What's
the
text I read you right before the show? My Uncle Tom from Phillips, Wisconsin, by the way. Shout out to the North Woods. Texting, how can the Packers play so poorly and still win? And thank you, Chicago.
And how can Adam...
Because the Bears collapsed.
I was shocked the Bears lost to the Lions. I was shocked the Bears lost to the Falcons. I was shocked that the Bears lost to the Dolphins. I mean, those were games the Bears played well in. I was shocked the Bears lost to Washington at the end. They easily could have won. Yeah, but at the same time, I also accept the fact that this team has such a huge talent deficiency that they're going to lose these games.
Right, but Braggs.
I don't know that they had that much of a talent deficiency today. Like, did you see the Packers?
Yeah.
That team's not good.
Rodgers does not look very good.
You were up 16-3. And it felt like that was going to be a game where they could win by 20-plus points. Same thing against the Lions a few weeks ago. A game that they should have probably been running away with it. And what did I say to you, Carm? It's probably in Carm's notes, so apologize for jumping the gun. But when the Packers had 10 points late in the third quarter, I go, this is how many the Lions had a few weeks ago at this exact point in the game. And then they did the exact same thing.
It is in the notes, but we can jump ahead. At 19-10, Hoge said this is the time that I'm going to go bet the Green Bay Packers. And you went and bet the Green Bay Packers, and Hoge's walking out of here with some extra money today because he bet the Packers with the Bears up 19-10, in essence, knowing that the Bears were going to bear.
Plus 275.
Plus 275. Congratulations. That's a good job.
Thank you.
That was and so meanwhile I'm sitting there like still having conversation with him, and he's like on his phone. I'm like, oh, he's actually doing it, and he's not listening at all, and he is getting this bet in. Like he is completely committed to making taking the risk that the Bears are not going to hold this, knowing what I didn't know at the time. I thought the Bears were going to win the football game at 19-10.
Yeah.
I really did.
The Packers did not look interested. Rodgers, in particular, looked like he was sick of playing in the cold. Looks like he had no interest to be, playing, for the Packers anymore. I mean, I personally think he's ready to retire. I know I've said it time and again, and nobody believes me. And Carmi V is going to continue to laugh at my take on this, and we'll just have to see when the offseason comes around. But I just see a guy that doesn't care about the football machine anymore. He doesn't want to be out there in the cold. He doesn't want to compete. He doesn't want to, obviously beating the Bears, he's always going to enjoy doing that. It's not that hard.
I was going to say, looking at the game was a lot of fun today in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, well, he handed end arounds to go to the house. Good for you. But it's not like Rodgers really did anything today that he can,
the fourth down throw was a big time play.
Fourth down throw was a big time play, and there was also no pass rush. Like we were joking.
That's true.
You made the comment, how long if Rodgers just never threw the ball, how many seconds would it take for our defensive line to actually reach the quarterback? And we came to the conclusion that they might just have to take a knee and take a breather after 18 seconds of trying because they're not going to get there.
That was, I was wondering, how long would it take for the Bears to actually touch him? If it was just if we were just playing touch the quarterback.
And that's what I mean. It's like, okay, there's a situational moment. You want to see the Bears succeed. Matt Eberflus, this is a situation where you got to get the Bears a stop there. It's 4th and 3. It's before halftime. If you don't give up a touchdown, the Bears could win the game. Well, the pass rush is non-existent all year, and Rodgers has 18 seconds to look back and find Christian Watson in the end zone. I'm not going to blame Matt Eberflus for that. I'm not even going to blame this piss-poor defense. They don't have enough tools. Ryan Poles is built. It's a rebuild. That's what it is. It's been a rebuild since camp.
I agree with you in that it would be very hard to look at Alan Williams and be like, what are you doing, Bears defensive coordinator? Well, what can he do? Literally, what can he do? The Bears secondary today, for everyone missing, they played their ass off.
Yeah, I was surprised most of that game. Obviously didn't do enough down the stretch. I don't think the Bears registered a quarterback hit.
And that's the other point
in the game
for the zillionth time.
And that's the other point too. William Kane says it in the chat. You said it, Adam. Now Cairo Santos becomes a problem. He misses an extra point. He misses a field goal. Justin Fields puts you in those positions. If Cairo does his job, then does Justin fail on the interception to win the game? Or is the complexion of that game different and the Packers don't necessarily take the lead? They would have had to get a touchdown to take the lead.
That's all true. And but then you're in the situation where you're down one, and what happened. What happened. Which was,
can't wipe that away. I get it.
The thing that I wanted to have happen all year was those situations. Make him play in the fourth quarter with it all on the line. It's real, actual game pressure, which is exactly what happened today against your bitter rival in December at home. So they're all great learning opportunities. And I have no doubt that he will learn from them. But I don't. It's also I don't think we could just sit here and celebrate. That was freaking awesome.
Yeah. No, and that's where I don't know. I think sometimes I feel like I'm able to separate the two.
Both things
you might be elite at that. You might be the best at separating the two.
Both things can be true is the statement.
They can be. Yeah. It's great that I even said it as I got up off our comfy couch over there and I saw the records displayed on the screen. I go, oh, that's actually probably a really good thing that the Bears are not going to have a worse pick than the Packers.
Because if they had won, they moved to 10.
But to me, that's completely separate than everything that played out in that football game.
Yeah.
And you can still look at the football game and see and line up questions versus answers, right? And so even if it just comes to Fields, answers really like how he is evolving as a quarterback. I really do. From a passing perspective, he is 100% getting better. He's throwing downfield absolute dimes. Love that. Like, he's really getting better as a quarterback. There's no question about it. Anybody saying he can't throw, I said you were an idiot a few weeks ago. Double, triple down on that now. He clearly can throw. He clearly can be a passer. You're not watching the games if you're denying that at this point. But another question, can he still close it out in the fourth quarter? Like, that's just an open-ended thing. You need to see it. And at least in the past, we weren't getting interceptions down the stretch. Well, I guess I shouldn't say that. That's how the Falcons game ended a couple weeks ago too. But, it's not something I'm worried about completely, but it is an open-ended question that will have to be answered next season.
100%.
Who did he complete the bomb to EQ, right?
Yes, the 2 bombs. You had one to EQ and one to N'Keal Harry.
Right. The Harry one was good. The one to EQ, and it was in the second quarter. We talked about it in our halftime video. I mean, seriously, how many times can you remember a Bear quarterback hitting a Bears receiver in stride on a bomb that just looks that beautiful?
To a 6th wide receiver on most teams' depth chart.
Right. And he did it. It wasn't perfect, but it was like a 9.6 out of 10 on not having to break stride. And that's where, like, I personally get super excited with the quarterback. That's right. In stride, I could put it 50, 60 yards down the field and see what's going on and nail you. And he did it today. And then okay, by the way, N'Keal Harry, sweet move. I'm going to throw it up to you, too. That's going to be a completion. Justin had great moments today. Fantastic moments. It just didn't happen in the fourth quarter.
And I'm really, again, I'm not that worried about it. Like, I think that'll
Me
come.
neither.
I really do think that'll come. But it's not like that phrase learning how to win doesn't need to be taken literally. It doesn't literally have to be a W at the end of the day. It just don't have games where it looks like you collapsed as a team. And it's as a team. It's not just the defense. You scored 3 points in the second half.
Learning and tanking and learning the Bears. We'll get there next year.
See, now that's a song I would memorize the lyrics for. Unlike the Super Bowl show.
It's not a tough one. Monday morning, I'll be singing it tomorrow morning on my way to yell at Braggs on Fox 32. Learning and tanking.
They do have to learn.
Learning.
Right. Real quick, put your Shady Rays on and sing Learning and Tanking. It's a great song. You should get into it. Shady Rays never understood why sunglasses were so expensive, and they set out to change it. You don't have to break the bank for quality sunglasses because our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades featuring world-class optical clarity, substantial durability, and styles catered to everyone and every lifestyle. I was driving down on the tailgate this morning. It was cold, but it was also really sunny out, which is nice. I hate these cold days in the winter where it's not even sunny. So the sun was out this morning. It was blaring into the car, and my Shady Rays on. We were all good.
Shout out to everybody who came to the tailgate, and shout out to Shady Rays all at the same time.
They have the most insane protection program in all of eyewear. If you lose or break your shades on day one, they told us they will send you a brand new pair, no questions asked. And even with that strong of a protection program, they still have quality kick-ass sunglasses for you. And their customers agree with over 200,000 five-star reviews. And Shady Rays provides 10 meals to fight hunger in America with every order placed. They've donated over 20 million meals to date. This is exclusive for our listeners. Shady Rays is running their deepest deal of the season. Use code CHGO for 50% off 2 or more pairs at shadyrays.com. Buy one, get one free. You can get 2 pairs for as low as $54. Redeem only at shadyrays.com, where you can find all their newest and best shades.
I was laughing at Cardiac Cat's chat. I want to know what they learned because it's the same thing every week. We can't close games against any team. It's a fair point, Cardiac. You're not. You speak truth, because at this point they should have learned this one. But I don't know. What did they learn today? He got to throw the ball more in the fourth quarter. I consider that to be at least a learning, teaching something moment. the ComEd Energy Efficiency Program is also learning, and they are committed to helping families and businesses. Actually, they don't need to learn anymore. They know what the hell they're doing. And business, they offer you a free facility assessment. This is going to help you find energy-saving opportunities, lighting, HVAC systems, commercial kitchen equipment, industrial processes. They will send out an authorized engineer. They're going to work with you to develop a detailed assessment plan specific to your goals and needs. It can be done in person, or if you don't want it to be done in person, they'll do it virtually. Bottom line is that they're going to save you money. So this is what you got to do. You can get started by reaching out to them for their energy-saving tips by either doing one of two things. Calling 855-433-2700. Actually, one of three things. Or you can go to their website, ComEd.com/poweringbiz if you want to check this out further. ComEd.com/poweringbiz. Again, you're going to save money and you're going to save the world some energy. Win-win. Love it. And you want to go a little more personal touch, straight to an email, businessee at ComEd.com. Get yourself your ComEd facility assessment. Start saving yourself some dough in the energy world.
Just a quick note. Sang Ray, once again, is telling us that we need to fire Flus for Sean Payton. I think that's his agent. Is that his agent?
It might be.
Okay.
It might be.
Thanks again, Sang.
That's what I'm, and I know you preface it by saying you're not necessarily worried. It's just concerning and it's still a question mark, but it's just like that's where the conversation then leads to. People that want to wring their hands about how the end of these games have came, and all these close losses, the 8 of them, then what are we saying? That Eberflus isn't good enough as a coach? Luke Getsy isn't good enough as a play caller? Justin Fields isn't clutch in the crucial moments? I'm not ready to make any of those determinations yet. And I am just grateful for the development that's happening. I said that at the beginning of the year. Keep your expectations low for a win-loss perspective and keep your expectations for development high. Matt Eberflus is developing a defense that, with whatever players are still going to be here. I loved what I saw from Eddie Jackson before he got hurt this season. I think they have a really good secondary. Jack Sanborn comes in for Roquan Smith, and he's looked really, really good.
Sand God.
The rest of them, they're going to get replaced. Justin Jones might be the only guy on that defensive line that's here next year, and he might be a backup.
Armon Watts.
I don't know. Armon Watts, sure. Then after that, Luke Getsy has developed Justin Fields into a dynamic quarterback. Justin gets most of the credit, but I'm going to give Luke Getsy some of that credit as well. And Justin Fields, that was all I worried about. If he develops into a franchise quarterback and now he's becoming a superstar quarterback, I was going to be happy with how this season has gone. That was the result, and we've gotten it, and I'm not coming off of it.
We're going to go out to Soldier Field at some point here, but by the way, as far as Fields goes, he says he felt kind of slow on his 50-yard touchdown run.
That's amazing.
That's a Moriano tweet right now. So I actually felt like he did look for him, let that register, for him, slow. For him.
H1M.
Yeah, so.
I'm going to break in again because we got a $50 super chat from Double D. He says, at least the second Watson TD helped pay for this super chat. Oh, okay, nice. Wishing we still had the money badger at kicker. Bet those 4 points would have let Justin breathe.
Didn't I see the money badger miss a kick on Thanksgiving? That was kind of important, or am I just making that up?
Bring back Badgley? Should we get it? Should we make a T-shirt?
No, I don't think so. But thank you for the super chat, Double D.
Bagley? Is it Badgley?
Badgley.
Michael Badgley.
I think that's what I did. I not say that?
I think so.
You said Badgley.
I thought it was Badgley.
I wasn't sure.
Actually, this is giving me my opportunity to have a comment on the kicker.
Here's this week's comment on the kicker.
Cairo Santos is definitely in a slump. I've actually been saying this now for a couple of weeks. It was like kind of a small slump. Now it's definitely veered into kind of a problem. Please be careful before you start tweeting things or saying things like the Bears need a new kicker. This is exactly what happened with Robbie Gould. He went through like a tiny little slump that veered into, okay, is this kind of a problem? Maybe it is, maybe not. And then they cut him. And then you had 4 straight years of not having a kicker. It could be a lot worse. And all kickers go through little slumps except for like Justin Tucker. It'll be all right.
And what is
Don't
this?
freak out about it. It's not good. It's not helping. Well, it is kind of helping the tanking thing.
And
but
what
I
is
wouldn't
the,
be-
what is the slump? He's missed some extra points. Four of them, I think, on
Four.
the year.
I
That's
don't know.
not good.
That first field goal did not
Okay,
look good.
But the field goal miss, wasn't it blocked?
Tipped, yes.
You
It
know?
was a low kick, though.
But it was
a low kick.
His-
I think that extra point he missed today, he was trying to play the wind. I guarantee you he's going to say, I thought the wind would, because if you looked at how he was kicking to the south end zone, then he's doing the opposite, the north. I think he thought the ball would take it more, and it just didn't. That sometimes happens. Not easy kicking conditions. But he had the kick out of bounds against the Lions. He had the mixed extra point against the Lions. It's a slump. It's definitely a little bit of a slump.
We all know, as I've said before, what a good kick looks like. And he is not splitting the uprights like straight down the middle where he's got some
Yeah, that first field goal that went in was
it was odd.
ugly.
It was now the wind
It was windy as crazy.
The wind was
Wind
straight
was
crazy
bad
today.
today. We can attest at the tailgate.
But
just all I'm saying is cool down on like we need a new kicker. Enough of Cairo.
well, we're going to get to see him kick in this weather all month because the Bears aren't going anywhere.
That's right. What a weird schedule to have 4 out of your last 5 games at home.
Especially when you're in a cold weather city and you don't have a
They're
dome.
nice if they were good.
Especially when you're, an
Be nice
up-and-coming
if they were in
media
a dome.
company trying to have these tailgates outside.
What is DVOA saying? How many wins the Bears should have? Let me just.
Oh.
Can you?
I got
dial
you.
that
I
up?
got you on that.
They'll say 4.
How many
It's
should
got to be
have?
at least 5. It's got to be at least 5.
I don't know about that. Someone's gonna have to keep talking. while I look
I'll
this
keep
up.
talking. Games they could have won.
Rags, go on one of
They-
your
they could've-
8-minute rants right now.
Games they could have won. Giants, Minnesota, Washington, Miami, Detroit, that's 5, Atlanta, 6, Green Bay, 7. That's 7. It's got to be at least 5. Maybe I'm going to guess it's 5.3. Give me a 5.3.
Yeah. Why am I not seeing? Hang on.
Learning and tanking and learning. Sanborn, I'll just keep talking. Sanborn, again, fantastic, all over the field. That dude is legit. We can hit some super chats while we're doing this too.
And I'm excited to hear Adams. Okay, go ahead.
Your
I'm sorry.
estimated wins. This is not including today's because it hasn't been updated today.
Not including today. Okay.
3.9. So it was up to 4 before you count today. So I guarantee that'll go over 4.
So it said like a 4-3.
Sure. It's basically
Yeah, that's how
Justin Fields 40 time.
Zing.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should have at least 4 wins. Damn it, not 3.
The Duke, the jackhammer is a freaking steal. Hashtag go Badgers. Hashtag Luke Fickle's God. Hashtag keep Jimmy.
Hashtag-
Thanks, Duke.
Hashtag shout out Loyola / DePaul and that college basketball atmosphere yesterday, since we mentioned colleges for a second. That was unbelievable. I just want a little shout out to the Rambler and their fans. Wow, that's a good job. All right, back to the super chat. Who do we got here?
Yeah, Lawrence, let's.
you want to knock
they
out
look
some
like
of
they're
these?
piling up. Let's fire
They
through some
definitely
of
are. Thanks, everyone, for these. Let's go to Max Wilson.
What up, Max?
$20 super chat. That's huge. Bears are learning and incomplete. Coaches, too. We shine at times, stink at others. The polish / experience to win the close games they've lost isn't there, and it shouldn't be yet. The moves they make this offseason are, all caps, huge. Huge.
these. Great super chat, Max.
Leaning in on yet. What was the? Oh, that's anybody. If anybody knows the movie High Fidelity, yet was used brilliantly in there.
Love that
But
film.
But that's fair. That's also fair. That's
It
the
is.
fair-
It is.
But this is also why, I want Matt Eberflus to go through moments like this. I want him to, but you also want to see them figure it out too at some point. You know what I mean? Like at some point you want to see them put it all together. Next year. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of a game you'll learn a lot more from than the Jets, game where you have nothing to take from very much in a sloppy rain fest with no Justin Fields and no close game at the end where you fall into these situational moments where there's success or failure.
I just want to see him score a touchdown in the fourth quarter to take the lead with under 2 minutes to go, and I don't care what the defense does at that point. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Go ahead.
Michael Washington, 1999. Can we just stop with the bad interception, but we want him to throw more with anticipation? This is obviously about Fields. This is part of the development. His contribution to the offense is immense. He will learn and be better.
Agreed.
Yeah, I gotta see the all 22 on the both interceptions, but especially the first one. The way the ball got there way late compared to when EQ turned around.
Came out of his break, yeah.
Which it's easy then to be like, well, he must not have thrown that ball with anticipation because that ball should be on him as he's turning around. But then you saw the other angle and you're like, well, it kind of does look like he got rid of that on time. Was it just a terrible route? I got to see the whole thing before I make a judgment on it.
Mark Schlereth, who knows what he's talking about, called out the route on the broadcast.
Yeah.
And I tend to lean with him.
Here's the thing. My guess is it's going to end up being both. I think it's going to be not a great route. Also, tick quicker on the throw.
Well,
and maybe don't throw to EQ against Jair Alexander. How about that?
Chimet was wide open.
That's another thing I want to see. Was he really wide open?
Looked pretty open. We'll have Nicholas Moriano coming on from Soldier Field along with Will DeWitt, but Nick was at the Fields press conference, so it'll be interesting what he had to say about the interception. I'm looking forward to that.
What else we got here?
John Davis, $10 super chat. Getsy should be ashamed of that second half play call. And Justin is cooking, and then they stopped throwing. The first INT was an anticipation throw, which we've been asking for, with a terrible route, in my opinion. So that's sort of based on that.
I tend to agree with John.
Absolutely.
Thank you, John. You the man, brother. Consistent as hell. Love you.
And here's another one. This one's from Alex. He says, Getsy was shambolic today, which is one of my favorite European words. That's a great soccer term. He was shambolic. Too many called runs. Fields kept bailing him out, and honestly does so almost every week.
There is a lot of that. First down run, second down run, third down, Justin save us. I thought it was a little bit less today, but it reared its second half head. Good call, Alex. Good call. Walt Riniak, White Sox.
Yeah, nice call. This is Zach Watts, $5. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the differing opinions here. I wonder if similar conversations are happening at Hallis Hall. Justin Fields was scrambling to pass today. Hashtag bear down.
Zach,
Yeah.
one of the conversations we had that was where we all agreed was one of Fields' scrambles where he got right up to the line of scrimmage, stopped himself, and floated one to Komet down the left sideline. That was awesome.
Great play.
That was
a good play.
Great development of our quarterback.
Right in all of our
And
faces.
great development by Justin himself to not just take the easy yards.
Stopped.
Keep yourself healthy.
Stopped, in control, looked downfield. This dude's wide open. Way to go, QB1.
He's good.
He's good.
I like him
He
a
had time
lot.
to throw there, too, because he was able to step up. Because that's one thing I'm excited to hear from your grades with Alex Leatherwood getting some playing time today.
Yeah, we should talk about that.
Yeah, and I've seen some people bring him up in the chat. That's another thing to look forward to here these last 4 weeks. Can Alex Leatherwood become someone that may be your future here next year? Because then you could potentially check some more boxes that need to be checked before we get to the offseason. I'm not saying he's a complete answer, but maybe you can find somebody that in Alex Leatherwood that is somebody you can go forward with. And then you have him, possibly Tevin Jenkins, as long as that whole relationship is mended, and Braxton Jones. I mean, maybe I'm getting ahead of myself after only playing one game, but it was nice to see him out there today.
Answers versus questions. Would love that to turn into an answer. Alex Leatherwood.
Speaking of things turning, how about this from Mark Gauthier?
What's up, Mark?
Isn't that guy like a YouTuber?
I know Gauthier is that singer, right? Something. Anyways, the worm is turning, he says. We have a less talented team, have been in almost every game. Polls will turn the number 2 pick into day 1 pick and 9 day 2 picks.
Day 2
Let's
pick.
go.
Ball.
There you go, Gautier. Could be Gautier, too.
Could be a Gautier, the GOAT.
Okay.
Well, that's to comment earlier in the chat, too, as to it's not just one player with the 2 pick. It gives them an option to get multiple picks of
a haul.
a nice solid.
That's the dream.
It's going to solve everything.
Best case
according
scenario
to Braggs.
is it could solve a lot of problems if we get a haul there, Adam Hoge.
Yeah.
All right? It could. We could re-enter ourselves into the Marvin Harrison Jr. sweepstakes for the next year going forward and add a second-round pick. That's how big the haul could get. That's our best-case scenario at 2. And our worst-case scenario at 2 is our pick of Anderson or Jalen Carter. That's a pretty good worst-case scenario.
Anderson.
Whatever.
Anderson.
Just saying.
Skoronski.
I'll take that as my worst-case scenario.
Trade down Skoronski.
And people are like, oh, well, Aaron Donald went 14. You can get a great player later in the draft. Well, then you're depending on 13 other teams' incompetence and you assessing the correct player at 14. At 2, all you have to depend on is yourself. You don't have to worry about what the rest of the league does before you. It's logic. That's it.
Next.
Yes, you'd rather pick second than pick 13th. I agree.
Justin Frost just brought this one in. He says, Hoge, looks like EQ came out of his route very lazy. Maybe increased snaps got his legs tired. Ha.
I don't know if it was lazy would be the word, but
Well, he's not a quick twitch guy. I think that's where you got to look at your matchups. I've sat here a lot this season, man. Like, EQ has been a pleasant surprise. He's done more than I thought. He's a very good blocker. If he's lined up against Jair Alexander,
their best corner
on a key down, like, let's look somewhere else, guys. Okay, please.
He's a fine 6th wide receiver on your depth chart.
Yeah, the Bears have a lot of those. This is from Knight 6776, $10 super chat. He says, with all those INTs, why couldn't our cornerbacks do that to the wide receivers of the Packers? They are not as good? Question mark and then 4 exclamation points.
Yeah.
So yes, I think.
I thought the secondary deserves a lot of credit. I mean, they have Eddie Jackson and Jaquan Brisker out, Kyler Gordon out. You know, you got backups in there, Jalen Jones. You got Josh Blackwell, and they were competing. They were
balling out, Josh Blackwell.
And they also have to cover these guys for 38 seconds while the pass rush plays patty cake and has no chance at getting at Aaron Rodgers, who's going to the Hall of Fame while he sits back in that pocket and just figures out who he's going to throw to, while he had a terrible day, too, at that.
38 seconds, 46 seconds, 3 minutes. It was a long time.
My favorite part of the game was when you were like, do you think they would, if Aaron Rodgers never threw the ball, how long would it take them to actually get him down?
It reminded me of, like, for me, like 7th grade after school sports. Danny Anderson back there, flag football. You can never touch him.
You couldn't. He just run around forever.
You just run around forever.
40-second
then
reps.
fire a touchdown pass to whoever.
It really got me thinking, though.
Steve Brodsky.
If Aaron Rodgers never threw the ball and just kept running around and running around and running around.
Not even running, just standing behind the pocket and just waiting.
Would they ever touch him before they all just fell down?
No. Yeah, they would all have to take a breather collectively.
Had a picnic.
Yeah. They would try for 22 seconds to get to the quarterback. Then they would have to take a breather, take a knee collectively, and try again while the clock was still running.
Rodgers sits down, stokes up a fire, takes some ayahuasca.
Well, Big Dave
Ayahuasca.
Big Dave was in there watching the game with us. Bulls Sacramento coming up tonight. It was like he was. I mean, did we touch Aaron Rodgers today? Other than a shake hand off the field after he saluted the Bears fans, which was nauseating. I mean, that jersey, if I'm the Packers equipment person, I'm like, yeah, I think I'm going to save the world here and not put that one through the washing machine because, that thing's clean as hell.
It probably doesn't even smell because it was so cold and he wasn't running around that much.
You don't need to wash that thing.
It probably smells like Aaron Rodgers. That stinks.
Yeah, but he's got such good natural oils and lovely cuisine that's emanating through his Aaron Rodgers skin that I don't think it needs to be washed.
The cuisine is coming through his skin.
Cuisine.
Yes.
That's
what
right.
you eat
Cuisine.
matters.
Lean cuisine.
Don't you know that, Adam Hoge?
There were no zero quarterback hits. So no, they did not. They did not touch him.
Is that good?
Yeah, no sacks today for Justin Fields.
He got hit a lot. You want to go out to Soldier Field? I think we should go out to Soldier Field.
Fields got hit twice. At least quarterback hits.
He got hit more than that.
And there was that one time I was screaming for him to go down, and he did.
He took some shots.
All right, let's go out to Will DeWitt. He's at Soldier Field right now. He was in the press conferences with Matt Eberflus and Justin Fields. Will, Where should we start? What do you want to address first from those press conferences?
A really good question, Adam. First of all, hope you guys are doing well as the Tankathon continues here in Chicago. I think the very first thing I wanted just to kind of bring up was just shared accountability for that first interception that we saw from Justin Fields here in the fourth quarter when he was targeting EQ. And then, of course, Jair Alexander came away with the interception. Matt Eberflus came into the room first and mentioned that ideally the quarterback does make some better breaks the receiver makes some better breaks on the ball there, and talked about that. There we go. The AirPods of mine were connecting and disconnecting. I don't know if that was Nick or not, but I will digress there. But anyhow, so Eberflus mentioned how he wished the receiver would have made a better break on the ball. That's a good throw by Justin Fields. It's one of those let it rip kind of throws, those trust kind of throws. But the only thing that he didn't like was the end result. And then a little bit later, when Justin came into the room, he echoed the same sentiments when they asked him what went wrong on that throw, kind of walk us through it. And he just said, ideally, my wide receiver there will fight back to the football just a little bit stronger. So I thought both Flus and Justin Fields being on the same page, both of them holding EQ to a little bit of a higher standard there, kind of rang a bell to me. I haven't really heard that. Everyone's been very dismissive most of the year to kind of place blame. And this one just was a little bit different.
Wait, let me just make sure I heard you right. Did Fields say, ideally, my receiver comes back to the ball quicker?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Well, at some point, you got to tell the truth, right, Will? Because if he comes in there and goes, that one's on me, then we're all sitting here saying how that was on Fields when it's not. And you got to be honest at some point.
Did you raise your eyebrows on that one? Like, oh my, he just he just called out a teammate.
I raised my eyebrows like, oh, damn, he just took an extra step as being a leader of this football team. You have to hold your guys to a certain level of accountability. And it seemed like a play that I think both Eberflus and Fields expected to be a completion, or at least an incompletion if EQ made a stronger play on that ball. And both seemed disgruntled by the fact of how it all kind of played out. So I think my eyebrows raised, not out of a concern about what came out of like Fields' mouth, but really just more of appreciation to kind of hear what Braggs just said, which is like the damn truth. Like sometimes you have to hear it. You can't just let it fall flat and just kind of like dismiss it every single week. And that was one of them that I was like kind of glad to hear it, because that's what I thought I saw, but this, them kind of echoing those sentiments and kind of backing each other up independently rang a lot of like positive bells for me.
Well, how did the shoulder hold up for Fields? Did he have anything to say about that?
Yeah, he said it held up fine. The only one was when he went to push Kenny Clark on one of the runs in the end zone earlier in the game. He said that one kind of aggravated a bit, but by and large, he's feeling pretty good here after the game. He did not take a pain injection shot. He did mention that in the presser too. He went out there, all natural, if you must say. But yeah, he said he's feeling pretty good. He messed up he said his hand got banged up either the end of the second or early in the third quarter. He couldn't remember correctly. But he did say that was like a newer development, but overall he's feeling pretty fine heading into the bye week.
The throwing hand or other hand?
That's a good question. No one specified that one, so I don't know. He just said his hand, but he did not say throwing or not.
Did anybody ask Eberflus about the timeout with under 2 minutes to go when they got a first down?
They did. So he mentioned, so you're talking about the one in the second half, not the one in the first half when Green Bay had the ball and he let them kind of resettle and get those points?
I was talking about the second half one, but we can cover both. But I just thought that they got a first down. They had 3 timeouts left. They were going to have to score and then get an onside kick, which obviously was unlikely. But you needed all 3 timeouts if you didn't recover that onside kick, and he burned one where I didn't think he had to.
Yep, I was actually telling Nick the same exact thing when we were watching this game. Like, well, there goes your chances. Like, if you don't get the onside kick, like, you're not going to be able to stop the clock now. And that's kind of the end of the game. No one asked about that one. I guess the bigger one in people's minds were the one in the first half and right before halftime when Green Bay was kind of driving and they came out with their field goal unit and then he called a timeout. And then they came back out, Green Bay did with their offense and ended up scoring 7 points on that drive. So he mentioned in that one specifically while we were asking where on this point, is that he just wanted his defense to have its time to like assess, and he wanted Green Bay to kind of force their hand a bit. I didn't really understand that answer. Still don't after about 15 minutes to think about it. But that was what he told us here after the game.
Nick, Will, we were talking about put $1 in the jar. Will, we were talking a little bit about
$20, dude.
$20, whatever. I owe you. Alex Leatherwood got to see the field today. I think a lot of fans have been calling for that. What did you think of his day, or did you hear anything, in the locker room or press conferences from that?
Yeah, a little bit of both. So first of all, when I saw Alex Leatherwood out there playing, I thought he looked very good in the role of right tackle. He wasn't out there a ton, but in the drive or two that he was out there, I thought he really looked the part. And I think I tweeted it out, like, the Bears have really played the long game here with him, kind of just keeping him, under wraps. But I thought his Bears debut looked really good. And when asked about why he was out there, did Reef get re-aggravated with his injury and anything, it was a planned rotation. Leatherwood had a, quote, good week of practice. And just due to that good week, they wanted to get him out there in the field and give him some reps. And the coaches were pleased with what they saw, too. And it sounded like it was something they're open with, kind of like going forward, a continuing rotation. Obviously, we know the Bears aren't shy of doing anything like that. We saw it early in the year, so maybe to close the season with a similar rotation, but instead of right guard, it's right tackle. Honestly, I'm for it. I want the Bears to see what they have in Alex Leatherwood. You went out there and you got him for a reason. We know what we got out of Reef, which is serviceable, but Leatherwood could be a long-term answer at right tackle. But you have to see what you have first. So that's why he was out there. Good week of practice, and the coaches wanted to give him some reps. And it wasn't due to an injury to Reef, which honestly, when I was sitting up here, I thought may have happened. Like it was like a little nick of what he was kind of dealing with throughout the week. But it was a planned rotation, which caught me a little bit by surprise.
Did anybody ask either Fields and or Flus Will about the 3rd and 5 call where Getsy chose to run it? Didn't work out. A lot of action on Twitter and everywhere, really wondering what the hell the Bears were doing at that point.
Yeah, you just get coach speak on both of them when asked about it. Just we have to execute better as an offense. That was the play that was called, and we just need to be better up front to paving a way for the running back. I think Fields mentioned that the back didn't have the right angle to the hole. Like he hit the right hole, but he needed to hit it a little bit harder to execute. But still, you didn't get a lot of gripe about the play call specifically.
Probably means it wasn't a great call.
Otherwise,
I think Fields, because Will, the only thing I wanted to maybe give him the benefit of the doubt until we learn more was there are certain situations where you might check to a run at the line of scrimmage. We've seen that earlier this season. So I just wanted to be careful before we blew up Getsy for that call. That maybe that's what happened, but I think Fields would have offered that up probably in that moment in his press conference had that been the case. Doesn't sound like he did. Will, what was the mood? It's another loss to the Packers. They got outscored 25-3 down the stretch. What was it like after the game going into this bye week? Uh-oh. Will, you still got us?
I think I caught most of that, and if I'm cutting out, please just mute me and stop me on your end. The Wi-Fi's the Wi-Fi is getting a little finicky over here. Nick.
We can hear you.
But if you guys can hear me okay still, the mood was weirdly neutral / kind of positive. The guys were kind of goofing off, hooping, hollering a little bit in there, and I thought that was odd considering, like you just said, Adam, it's a loss to the Packers, the degree in which they kind of let this game slip through the cracks. I didn't like it personally as a fan of this team to kind of hear that and feel that. I've been in the locker room a few times this year, and I've been in when it's much more somber, where you can hear that pin drop, where guys are just kind of just individual to themselves and just kind of you can tell focused and reined in and just upset. But it wasn't really like that today, and I don't know exactly why that was the case. I wasn't in there too long, but while I was in there, that was kind of the vibe, which wasn't super defeated and more just kind of we're moving on to the next one, and maybe they're just excited that the bye week's coming up. I couldn't tell you.
That's what I was going to say. Are they, been through this grind of a year and they get a week off?
I mean, we might have to bring back Matt Nagy to really get the players to care even more. That's in the that's in the chat. That's exactly what it is, though, right? You're in the bye week, and
I'm going to stop you and help you out for the people that are listening to the podcast. Do a better job of explaining why you just said that, because people listening to the podcast think you were being serious about that Matt Nagy comment.
So we have Matt Nagy in the chat, and and Nagy in the chat is saying the players don't even care anymore. So I am facetiously agreeing with Matt Nagy in the chat. Thank you for reminding me.
Just saving you. Duke, because all the people listening in the cars tonight or tomorrow morning are like, wait, what did he say about Matt Nagy?
Yeah, no,
the people listening to this on 2.5 speed forward are going to rewind back.
Our Matt Nagy chatter,
Slow it down.
whoever the hell he and or she is doing a great job. I'm not well. I think that's partly that good locker room vibe. That's a lot of what's come down from Flus all season long. Will, I mean, he's always tried to focus on the positive, to knowing that they're climbing uphill with the level of talent and all the dead cap space, and just trying to grow and playing for the future and all of that. So I'm sure he probably gave a fairly robust, positive post-game speech, and these dudes know they got a bunch of time off and will come back and, hey, we were close.
Man, this Wi-Fi is being really tricky, guys.
All right, well, it's all good. Will, thank you so much. Really good insight from the press conferences. We appreciate you. It was good seeing you at the tailgate this morning as well. Safe travels, and appreciate everything. Make sure you check in at all Will stuff out at allchgo.com. There he is, Will DeWitt.
Don't you agree, though, with that? That the Flus is positive Flus.
I like Flus. I like what he's done overall as the CEO type coach.
Mm-hmm.
The culture
I agree
that's been built. I do think there's a lot to be said for during the week when we are in that locker room, and I like getting that midweek kind of feel of where the team's at. I mean, this last week could have been devastating. They lost a big leader on both sides of the ball with Eddie Jackson and Darnell Mooney, and yet there was still kind of this, I don't want to mischaracterize, like it's an upbeat vibe, but not in like a we don't care kind of way. It's just like going about their business, very professional.
I agree. That's how they
sounds like they're still practicing the same way, and I think that does set a good positive foundation for the culture going forward. I am optimistic about that. I still have questions about sometimes the coaching in game. When this stuff's going on late in games, like the timeouts we brought up. There's a timeout in the second quarter. There's a timeout in the fourth quarter. There's a quarterback sneak earlier in the game that is incredibly questionable considering your quarterback has a shoulder issue. There's the 3rd and 5 play call.
Yep.
Where they're and it's not just one play call. I thought in general they were too conservative.
Yep.
In the second half. And that can sometimes come down from the head coach. Hey, what's the approach we want to be taking here? Like, let's be careful. Let's,
right.
a lot of
play
times
calling at the end against the Falcons, that goes on Getsy, but Eberflus also, the buck stops him with him in a situation like that. The timeouts against the Lions, I believe, at the end weren't good. I thought his timeout handling was better at the end of the Falcons game. Play calling at the end of the Commanders game. I didn't love the half-field read to Darnell Mooney. I mean, Darnell could have easily came down with it, but I'd prefer not a half-field read in a situation like that. The 4th and 2 against the Giants earlier in the year. I didn't like the punting there. That's a Getsy decision, but it's more so an Eberflus decision for punting there. So there's been more than a few, whether you want to call play calling or timeouts, that you can have questions to.
I think that Coach Flus, my guy, I think he has confirmed throughout this entire season that he is exactly what we thought he was, which is a high floor, solid, not going to embarrass you, down the middle, coachy coach, and I've yet to see any real genius that was really, really strategic. Wow, our head coach is awesome moments this year.
Yeah. Now I will say one.
And maybe I'm missing something.
Coaching Bill Belichick in New England was pretty damn impressive.
That was.
And that was the first game that they busted the QB designed runs out.
That was something I wanted to bring up. Like the ability to adjust. I think we've maybe not seen enough of that within games, although there have been times of that. But I think especially coming out of that mini bye, going into a game against Bill Belichick and completely out-coaching the Patriots, although we've come to learn, I think, on that offensive side of the ball with Matt Patricia running that whole deal over there, that maybe it's not that
And they had
impressive.
a bad quarterback situation going at that time.
And it was almost like, I don't know, Belichick just was just in love with Flus that day and didn't even want to go hard at him. It was
No.
it
Well,
was
They
remember
just
how
didn't
much
have an
Belichick loved
answer.
the whole roster?
Yeah,
The Monday rant
they didn't
about
have an answer for the QB design runs.
every
but to-
player on the roster.
But Adam, to your point about adjustments too, I mean, remember it early in the season, the first 6-7 games, the Bears had only given up like one touchdown on defense in the second half, and we kept calling it the adjustments that they were making. We were questioning their game plan going into games, but they were always seeming to adjust and play better defensively in the second half of games. That's fallen apart now that you've lost Robert Quinn, you've lost Roquan Smith, and now Jalen Johnson's been hurt a few games here in this second half of or portion of this season. Now Eddie Jackson's out. So I think the adjustments become much harder when you don't have the horses.
All right, let's get to a couple things. Nick's going to be joining us soon. First, got to tell you about our friends at FOCO, which they were huge at the tailgate today. We had their stuff all over the place. Got
FOCO.
the Santa hat here. I'm bringing one of these home for
That's
James.
a FOCO hat?
It is from
That's
FOCO.
a FOCO hat.
You got your giant hoodie. The QR code is on your screen. If you're watching on YouTube, scan that. You can get all access to all of their football stuff.
All the Bears gear, yeah. It goes right to the Bears stuff.
Chicago, you've already got the best coverage for your favorite team. So get fitted out in the best sports gear around. FOCO has you covered from Soldier Field to the living room, north or south side. Hoodies, slippers, signs, bobbleheads, everything in between. Oh, we can't see the stocking anymore. You're blocking it, Carm. Carm, shift left or right.
Blocking the stocking.
Not good enough.
Try the other way. Yeah, there you go.
We got to move the stocking.
We'll work on
All
that.
right. There's a bear stocking back there, we promise. It's from FOCO. Get decked out like tomorrow with apparel from the leader in sports merch and collectibles. Looking for the perfect gift for the football fan in your life? FOCO's got you covered with hoodies to fight that Lake Michigan breeze. Oh, did we feel that this morning.
FOCO.
Check out FOCO.com or click the link in the description below. For all non-presale items, use the promo code CHGO for 10% off.
FOCO.
All right.
Yeah, okay. So one comment from Justin Fields from our guy Kevin Fishbane. Quote, I think this was one of my best games passing-wise. The stats are going to show that, but I felt really comfortable in the passing game. That makes me feel kind of
Good.
googly all over. All right, Game Time is the hottest new ticketing site. Makes it easier than ever to score the best deals. Do tickets for sports, concerts, shows. Game Time, we love you. And, of course, you should be downloading the Game Time app, which has been done by 15 million plus people. Want to go see the Chicago Bulls play on Wednesday night with the Washington Wizards.
Bulls play today.
Wizards, yes, Bulls at Kings tonight.
figured that's why
Big Dave and Peck and
I mean, he likes us, but I don't
Will
think he likes us that
and
much.
I thought you just wanted to
company.
hang out with me.
Yeah.
That's all.
You can get, if you went on right now to see the Bulls and Wiz on Wednesday night, $43 gets you into the United Center for Bulls basketball by using the Game Time app. That's up top, but you want to sit, courtside, you can do that too. 50-yard line for any of the remaining Bears games, they got you covered. Join those 15 million people. And by the way, if you love CHGO, the best way to support us, buy your tickets using the link in the YouTube and or podcast description. Bears, Game Time app.
And DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is my go-to when betting on the NFL this holiday season.
When
when it was 19-10 Bears, and all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, I know how these games have gone all season, and the Packers are plus 275 to win on the money line. Yeah, let's jump on this DraftKings real quick.
I hate you with that.
Had a nice $10 free bet from yesterday, I think, for getting the USA game wrong or something like that. They're like, here's a free bet. Sorry about that.
Love free bets.
Free bet, took it, flip it, Packers money line, boom. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 on any NFL team to win their game, and they'll get $150 in free bets. Like I said, free bets. If they do, check this out right now. Everyone can earn up to 100% boost with DraftKings stepped-up same-game parlays. Go to DraftKings Sportsbook app, place a same-game parlay, combine multiple bets like which team will win, player props, point totals, and more. The more legs you add the bigger the boost, the bigger your shot to win big. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code CHGO. Place a $5 bet on any NFL team to win their game and get $150 in free bets if they do. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code CHGO. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. I love DraftKings.
Love DraftKings. Shout out to David Carman in the chat. That dude knows what he's talking about. Good bloodlines.
And we got to do our DraftKings King of the Game.
I'm sorry, Dave.
He's King of the Game. His name is Cole Kmet. I said it should be Justin Fields, though, but good game for Cole Kmet.
Me and Mark wanted Josh Blackwell.
Mark's the one who picked Cole Kmet.
Because you guys wouldn't let me pick Blackwell, which was disappointing. I thought Blackwell was great today.
It should have been Fields. Good game for Cole Kmet, though.
Yeah.
Should have started
Fields
him in fantasy.
You could have given it to Justin Fields, but he threw 2 interceptions in the fourth quarter, and albeit now that is interesting that he is calling out EQ for not running the route correctly.
I agree with Will on it, man. He's not calling him out.
What is he?
He's calling what people want explanation on what happened on the play.
Let's not punish these athletes when they tell the truth in the media.
Justin Fields says that one's on me.
You want a coach speak answer? You want the truth?
Yes,
you can't handle the truth, Carl.
How is Adam Hoge supposed to give expert analysis if the quarterback himself is saying that one's on me? He can't. He's then got to rely on Justin Fields' word, and then it makes an uninformed opinion.
I disagree.
All because they're going to protect EQ's feelings and go into next year saying, okay, I knew that wasn't my fault, but next year, we're going to have better receivers, so I'm not going to blame the receivers now. No. He holds the accountability just like the quarterback does.
All he has to say is that me and EQ have got to be on the same page a little bit better. Something along those lines.
Eberflus can call it for what it is, but Fields
We
shouldn't.
don't know what Fields exactly said. Will was just doing a good job reporting it. Wait till you listen to the quote before you freak out.
And maybe Nick talked to EQ in the locker room. Who knows?
Okay, let's get to Nick.
But just to remember, the DraftKings King of the Game was Cole Kmet, who you guys just did not talk about for the last 3 minutes.
No, Cole was great. I mean, he's continuing to develop. And apparently that's all just on Fields and not Getsy. Everyone hates Getsy now.
Nick.
William Kane, they pay me to overanalyze. That's why they brought me over here. Carmen, come over here and overanalyze things.
That's not what no. No.
I understand.
Nick. What is it? A little backwards hat action in the press box.
Nick, can you hear us?
Good. Why does he always look so damn good?
So good.
I can hear you guys. I think I'm experiencing the same thing that Will was, and you can't blame I'm using Will's laptop. He's got an Apple. He's got a Mac, so you can't give me that crap about my technology. So we're gonna blame.
Nick just did there. Nick just stood up for himself a little bit, just like Justin Fields did. He was just being honest about who was to blame in this particular. He didn't throw anybody on the bus. He's just being honest.
Nick, I'm texting you my questions. You can read them back. You guys go first.
All right, I want to know first.
Real quickly, you guys. Real quickly.
Yeah, go ahead.
You guys talked about EQ. He ran out of the locker room. Like, he would not wait. Didn't want to talk to anybody. So he was one of the first people out of the locker room. Did not get a chance to talk to him. I know you guys just said maybe I got a chance to. No, he was one of the first guys out there. And then shortly after, we hear what Eberflus had to say, what Justin Fields had to say. And I wonder, again, like, that was a big interception that happened late in the game, but he was not available in the locker room because he simply wasn't there.
Would you say his route running to leave the locker room was better than on that pass?
Great one.
Damn, he can't hear me. Damn it.
Something about the route running was, like, good or bad.
Yeah, Lawrence wanted to know if the route running was better out.
He was quick out of there.
All right. Let's reset.
I would say
Nick is dealing with a delay issue. Everybody needs to stop talking to him or it's not going to work. Okay? Nick. All right, that's very interesting that EQ got out of the locker room quick. I know Chase Claypool. That looked bad, by the way, when his leg bent in the wrong direction. What was the update on him after the game?
Yes, so he wasn't available to speak either, and his right leg was wrapped in a brace. And then we were informed later that he's getting medical treatment and wasn't going to be available for the media because of treatment. So that's where Chase Claypool is at. It's unfortunate. that he did sustain the injury, ended up being a fumble. But yeah, his right leg was wrapped in a brace, and he was scheduled to talk, but due to getting the medical treatment, he wasn't available too.
Interesting. Carm?
I just think it's I don't want to get caught in the overanalyzing thing here again, but I think it's interesting that EQ left the locker room after a game like that where he's clearly
Probably has a flight booked to Maui tonight.
he
Had to
could
get to the airport.
he very well could. That's entirely possible.
I wish I did.
But that's not great. I'm wondering. Oh, I don't even know, Nick.
All right, fine.
Honestly,
give us what's going on with Cairo Santos. Why is he going through this slump right now? What do you have to say?
Yeah, so Cairo, he was pretty down on himself. You could tell by how he's answering his questions. His eyes looked a little puffy when we got a chance to talk to him, but felt like that it just wasn't there for him on Sunday. He just wasn't able to, kick the ball the way he wanted to. He said in practice he felt good throughout the week. But what stinks for him, he said emotionally this sucks because now you go into the bye week and he doesn't have the opportunity to go right out there and kind of redeem himself for the kicks that he missed today. One was obviously blocked, but he says even though he's missed some of these extra points, his confidence is not being affected. But again, it goes back to emotionally because he's not able to get right back out there, has to wait another week before he can kind of prove himself because he knows he's been doing pretty good this season, but it's just those extra points, you guys. It's for some reason he just hasn't been able to hit them. But he said the weather conditions weren't a factor. He said pretty normal for Chicago, so just wasn't there for him today. Was kind of how he put it and why he missed the extra point, and then obviously got the field goal blocked.
Life of a kicker. Okay, fine. I got something for you, Nick. Actually, Alex Leatherwood. First time seeing him. How did he get himself back to the field? Did you get a chance to talk to Leatherwood?
Yeah, Mark. So it was a process for Alex Leatherwood. He said he lost about 25 pounds when he got mono, and it took him about 3 to 4 weeks to regain the weight. But he still, like, the main thing he was feeling was fatigue. So he had to, battle back and try to get back into playing shape. But just to put on that weight that he had lost because he had mono, and it was tough for him because he just got to a new team, got mono, and then was out even for a more prolonged time. But the big thing for him now is just focusing on continuing to learn this offensive scheme and just trying to get more comfortable with the playing style that's being asked of, him in this offense. And what he said he liked about it so far, just working with Chris Morgan and obviously with the other offensive linemen, is the physicality that, this Bears offensive line kind of plays with, how they're running the football. So he really likes that. But really that mono was big in terms of impacting his immediacy and trying to get onto the field, because anytime you lose 25 pounds and you're an offensive lineman trying to put on weight, it's tough to do. But he also was asked about, well, how do you know what you need to get your body ready for? Playing tackle is different than what you need for playing guard. Basically, he said you just got to be prepared for anything. But he says his body and how he feels about it, his confidence in himself, he feels like he can play both positions. But obviously, we saw him at times playing the right tackle position.
Nick, I just assumed with Eddie Jackson and Jaquan Brisker out that this secondary was going to get shredded by a future Hall of Fame quarterback here. But I was actually pretty impressed for most of the game. I know they ended up giving up some points, but I was pretty impressed by some of these, lesser-known names like Josh Blackwell, who I thought has played well in special teams all year. Jalen Jones playing well. Did you have a chance to talk to anybody from the secondary? Because I thought they competed today.
They definitely did, and we actually got a chance to speak to Jalen Johnson about the young secondary, and he said, I think we did a damn good job, if you ask me, about how they played Aaron Rodgers and dealing with, not having a bunch of starters like you were just mentioning, Greg, but you saw guys like Jalen Jones and Josh Blackwell, like they were in sync for a lot of plays where you see Aaron Rodgers and Randall Cobb, usually take advantage of some of those pick plays. Like they were in position for a good part of it, but he felt that the young guys handled their composure for a majority of their game. And he also felt like the leadership that Jalen Johnson displayed and also DHC was big for, these young guys being able to execute for a good majority of the game. And he said that when you're a young guy, everybody wants opportunity. Everybody wants that opportunity to play a guy like Aaron Rodgers. And he felt like for the most part, they did a good job of capitalizing on the opportunity that they had.
All right, I think we're starting to lose Nick a little bit here, so I think we need to take this opportunity to say happy birthday, buddy.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
Happy
play you in ping pong.
I'm still mad I lost to you on Thursday.
You're the best
birthday,
looking
buddy.
media member covering the Bears.
Can we do the Camp Nabagamon song?
The what?
Camp Nabagamon.
Okay, thanks, Nick.
Thanks,
Have a good day.
Hanskeleva, Hanskeleva, Hanskeleva. Hey,
Oh my God.
boo-rah. I'll stop. Boo-rah, boo-rah.
You know, our guy Pravin, I know that Nick, I don't think, talked to Sanborn, our guy, but he was like, what do you think Jack Starborn said to Rodgers when he was trying to draw the defense on that
Starborn.
play? What do we think he said? Thanks for the super chat.
I mean,
I'm going to make this promise to you, Praven. I'm going to find this out this week, okay?
There we go.
I'll be honest with you. I have no idea what you're talking about right now.
no, you just got in Rodgers' face and said, I am Sanborn, I am Sand God. You pass the torch to me right now and know that even you might win today, and you might have beaten the Bears 8 years in a row. Or 8 times in a row, 4 years in a row. But that's all over now.
25 out of 29.
That's 25 out of 20. That's all over now that 57 is on the case. See you next year, Sanborn.
Okay. Feeling it seems a little long-winded for what was probably a 1-second comment, but
How about he just said, my name is Sanborn. Know it. Live it.
He was like, do you know who Jack Sanborn is?
He might.
he probably said, knowing Rodgers is a huge Wisconsin basketball fan, how about that win over Marquette yesterday?
Could have been that.
It's probably what it was.
I'm telling you, the dude was like Sanborn,
Yeah.
57. Live it, love it. Do you get the long time? All right.
All right. Let's get through the super chats. You better have your notes ready. Let's go.
I got my notes.
Okay.
All right, Bear Forever. All caps. More N'Keal Harry, please.
Hey, I'll tell you, the one thing that Kill Harry does well is catch those 50-50 balls.
Yeah.
I'm down for some more N'Keal Harry.
Almost
Take
like
some
big
more shots.
targets. You know, first-round talents, big targets might help a quarterback. Maybe.
I think that was his only target today, right? Let's go to the hang on. Let's go to the offensive stats here.
Let's go to the tape.
We're gonna go to receiving. Cole Kmet led the team with 7 targets, 6 catches. Chase Claypool 6 targets, 5 catches. That's an improvement. Still only 28 yards though. Way too many short throws to him. I don't really understand that. Equanimous St. Brown had 4 targets, 3 catches. N'Keal Harry 1 target, 1 catch, 49 yards. It's good.
More N'Keal Harry.
High catch rate on all these targets. I like seeing that. In fact, not a single player targeted had more than 1 target that wasn't caught. Does that make sense?
Sure.
Sure, yes.
Not a lot of
was he,
incompletion.
20?
I mean, he was 20
25?
to 25.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And one of those was a pick that wasn't his fault.
At least one. At least one.
I guess you could also argue a good play call.
That pick is a 50-50 all day, but go ahead.
Dirk Bullet, $2. 1, Getsy is afraid. 2, shout out to Lord Fishbane.
Lord Fishbane.
You love the fish, man.
Lord Fishbane sounds like a beer.
Kevin Fishbane
Does.
makes the world a better place. We know this.
By the way, our friend Austin that was in the super chats earlier and was at the tailgate.
Won the Foco sweater.
And got the Foco sweater today. He was telling me that last night they went to a concert at the Aragon. What was the band? The Rainbow Kitten Surprise, I want to say was the name of the band.
One of my favorite bands.
Rainbow Kitten.
I have heard of them.
Is it Surprise? I want to
There's surprises in the name as well.
Okay.
I don't know.
I actually have not heard of the Rainbow Kitten Surprise, and I don't want Austin to think that I'm...
Rainbow Kitten Surprise is their name.
Wow. Jamar Chase just made an incredible play.
Let's go.
Jumped over a guy. Oh, those top 10 picks. You
Cody,
know.
$4.99 super chat. Second pick will be traded so we can acquire more top tier talent to win these types of games. Plug in Anderson and Deron Payne. Wide receiver and right tackle. Boom, worth it. How are you trading back and still getting Anderson?
You're not.
Might.
Rainbow Kitten Surprise is an alternative rock indie band featuring lead vocalist Ella Milo, Derek Bozzy Keller, Ethan Goodpaster,
Where are they from?
Jess Haney, and Charlie Holt.
Just give us a location.
The band formed in Boone, North Carolina.
Boone. Shout out
Ooh.
App State.
I was going to
Let's go.
say, the mountains up there in the
Let's
Smokies.
go.
Rainbow Kitten Surprise,
Home of
RKS for
Michael
short.
Jeffrey Jordan.
It's known for its harmonies, instrumentation, and their lyrics. Been in it. They're playing in France. You want to go see them March 15th.
Game time. And then we have a second Cody. This is Cody Trough.
When are they
which-
playing in France?
Shout out to
March.
Wrigley Field.
So not next
$10. What happened to Pringle? Is he injured again, or don't target and play better
don't
players
know.
in tank
Yeah,
time?
active today.
He was out there. I saw him.
He was. He
out
did
there.
not get a target after last
Somebody
week.
said that he was going to be the guy that would score the first touchdown of the day.
Yeah, don't know who that was.
Whoever that was wrong.
By the way, Rainbow Kitten Surprise is at the Sylvie tonight in Madison.
Ooh, that's a good venue.
Yep.
I saw Greta Van
The
Fleet
Sylvie,
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
also a
Greta
nice
Van
person.
Fleet.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
They suck.
Why?
They're just, I don't know. They're not good.
They were up and coming. They were doing great, and then they had a terrible performance on Saturday Night Live that one time, and it's never been the same.
They're just like, they're like a, I don't know, like a parody band.
What are you talking about?
Okay, let's chop. Are we getting to Cornelius, my guy?
Let's go to Cornelius.
Cornelius, should Eberflus hire somebody to help him manage games more for next year? Kind of like the Broncos did. Kind of like, yes, Cornelius. I love that idea.
Okay, but kind of like the Broncos did, it means kind of like you probably shouldn't be the head coach if that's the problem.
You know,
Yeah.
I don't know anything about play calling.
Which, by the way, is not what I'm saying about Eberflus. I'm just saying if you're down the road of the Nathaniel Hackett stuff, you're in trouble, and I don't think the Bears are in that case.
Listen, I know it's not breaking news to say I don't know anything about play calling, but I will say, you know, if you play Madden, if Eberflus just spends 3 months this offseason playing Madden, he'll learn timeout management much better. Just play 5-minute games and just work it to death, and you will have a better timeout management than what I'm seeing currently. Because I've learned a lot from timeout management from Madden. I'm telling you, you know, that's the one thing you can learn. You know, so it's something he needs to work on. So maybe,
Hot
you know,
take.
hop on the sticks.
Hot take.
And get your Madden going.
Hot take. More Madden for Flus in the offseason. You think he's ever played Madden in his life?
I doubt it.
He doesn't seem like the Madden
Do you
type.
think he grew up with Tecmo Super Bowl
Tecmo.
like we have
got
in the
Tecmo
office?
here.
NFL Blitz. What do you think Flus's game was?
Yeah, and how about, speaking of timeouts, Luke Getzey called
Joe
a timeout.
Montana
I know you
football, says
explained it
Big
to me,
Dave,
but
yeah.
I feel like I've never seen an offensive coordinator run up to an official and call a timeout like that happened in
Yeah,
the
I mean,
first half.
typically first half, you would give your offense coordinator the ability to do that. It's not the second half. They're not as crucial. You can burn more timeouts on offensive situations where you either have the wrong formation, play clock's running down, whatever. And also what we don't know is it's very possible they were talking in the headsets and Getzey was like, can I call timeout? Can I call timeout? Can I call timeout? He probably got a yes, or he may just have the freedom to do so in the first half.
Well, and
very different situation in the second half.
And I guess I didn't realize he was allowed to. Like, anybody on the sidelines can call a timeout? Like, I didn't realize that is it just the offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, or head coach? Or can any schmo on the sideline call a timeout and they have to listen to it and call it?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, they can. They can call. Yeah, they can.
Harrison Hand is not
About a
allowed to call
player.
timeout.
Harrison Hand cannot call timeout. All right. Let's go to Carm's notes. Save that comment from Ryan.
So we'll fly through these today. First off, I've got Valus early in the game running routes. I was excited about that. Good to see Valus.
I did see him run that one route. Yep.
Yeah, it didn't exactly continue, but he was running routes early, liked it.
But someone caught the ball underneath. Was that to Claypool?
Yes.
I think it was.
I
He
think.
ran over the top, and then Claypool came over, and I think he got the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was right then that I wrote down the quarterback sneak with 3 question marks. That was right after the quarterback run. Did not like that at all. The replays on the telecast today, Little light there, Fox.
Oh yeah, Fox has a tendency to do that.
Yeah,
I don't know why.
There was on one of the EQ with that weird reverse end around, looked like he was going to throw. Fields was blocking.
Yeah, they never showed that again.
Yeah, it just. Where's the replay? Hello. You think we can digest that play all at one time? What are we here?
7 people just touched the ball. It looked like a guy was running wide open. He probably wasn't wide open because it was probably a safety over the top. We couldn't see that, though. There was no replay and no comment on what was going on there.
And then at that point, by the way, the Bears got a field goal on that drive, and Santos's field goal from 40 was a weird kick that went through, which was a sign of things to come. Josh Blackwell, special teams tackle, made the notes.
You were in love with Blackwell today.
DeAndre Houston-Carson tackling Aaron Jones with that arm rip. You made the notes. Way to go.
It looked like it hurt, by the way.
That was a good job. Jack Sanborn, third down tackle where he just ate whoever the Packer dude was with, just ate his leg. We heard about Flus saying tackle low. We saw Sanborn doing it. Sandgod, listening, learning, getting better. Sanborn. I did not know that the Bears scored on their first drive for the 10th time this year. They had that stat, most in the NFL. Opening drives, no one has scored more, not touchdown, but just scored field goal and or touchdown.
That's a good thing to be happy about.
That's a good job coming out. That does speak to coaching. The Fields 56-yarder was insanity. That, of course, made the notes. And at that point, Kevin Kadick, head of content, was yelling at Greg Braggs, "You better fucking enjoy this."
I was throughout this game. I was frustrated because I just want this number 2 pick, and I think I was almost gonna get killed in here at one point by a group of people here
because you were literally crying.
Adam was ready to kill me. Mark's giving me death stares. Kevin was.
No one's killing anyone.
Realistically, firing was on the table. That was discussed at one point, but not killing, not
locking
murder.
me on the patio, something. I was nervous.
It is surprising that part hasn't happened yet this season. The little lock him out there at halftime when he
does
goes out.
With the spaces.
Yeah.
Just
that's a good idea.
We should just leave him out there in the third quarter.
Yeah. Jalen Jones makes the notes. I underlined that I thought that he was getting better. I also learned from our general manager today, Jake Flanagan, that what he likes to do is say, hey, when good things are happening. And that's what he was saying on the Fields bomb. He went with the hey, kind of like and it was right after that Fields bomb that we started to trash U.S. soccer fans. Hey. Fat Albert.
Whoa. Let's put the royal we in the trashing U.S. soccer
There was a universal.
There was 1 to 2 people that were doing that, and I was not one of them.
You were definitely in on the U.S. national team. Those who maybe you weren't, I don't know.
What I did say was I got into the World Cup, and then the second they lost, I didn't really care, and I was happy the Big 12 championship game was on.
I think that the World Cup was great, and I watched none of it.
World Cup's always great.
It's also not over.
It passed me by. Josh Blackwell again on the notes on page 2, covering Randall Cobb. He did a great job.
Okay.
That Armand Watts tackle.
That was his one good play every game he gets.
Yep. And I don't know why I've written down here Fields no life. Not sure what that means.
Because you guys were critical at one point when they made a big play and they panned over to Fields on the sidelines. He wasn't like as excited, and I guess last week,
he had no life to him. That's right.
He had that deadpan face, and I guess last week he was talking about a lifeless sideline trying to bring spark. So
for the record, I hate reading body language on the sideline. What I commented on was Fox had done, I think, a sideline report talking about how Fields had said that he didn't like the energy on the sideline last week when he wasn't playing, so he was trying to bring life to the team. And then the defense made a huge stop. They panned over to Fields, and he's just standing there looking cold and grumpy.
Yeah,
Which I don't care. I'm just saying it was kind of funny because they had just done a report about his energy on the sideline, how he didn't like the energy on the sideline. And then it was like this big, exciting moment, and he's just standing there. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, resting Bears face as we
resting
talked about at the beginning of the year.
That was resting Bears face. Wrapping up the first half, I have no man on Rodgers' touchdown pass to Christian Watson. Not sure what that means either, but I think that meant that that Rodgers was just living the dream and could just sit back there all day long.
Do I have to take notes while you're taking notes? So that
maybe.
You need to have somebody clarify your notes.
Well, it was a big day today.
I got notes
Second half, the Packers didn't run on 3rd and 1. They threw another bomb, gave the ball back to the Bears. Green Bay tried to lose this game for a while today until they didn't.
You played awful.
Yeah, that was a gift. We had a toss to Valus that made the notes here. Valus touching the football. I love Valus, apparently.
Yeah,
Didn't
basically
bobble it all today. I don't think.
Anytime you see Valus, you write it down.
Yeah. Rodgers was pissed at the sideline for that non-challenge when
that was a stupid non-challenge.
the Packer running back fell to the ground, got back up, but we got the spot and it helped the Bears. But didn't end up mattering. Then there was the 3rd and 5, and we threw that ridiculous wide receiver screen to Claypool, and Adam Hoge said F off with that call.
I think that was the play. I was trying to remember because there was one play where I said that's my least favorite call of the entire season.
Yeah, you hated it.
And then that was before the 3rd and 5 where they ran, which was then my new worst favorite play call of the year.
And that's when we started singing, taking and learning and taking. The Bears will get there next year. Fields to Kmet on 3rd down when he was running up to the line. And the nice, solid moment of maturity. We talked about that earlier. That was nice. Braggs was aware of some crazy fan in the stands who was wearing the Packer stuff. Who was that?
Oh, yeah.
Steve, the Packer fan.
It's at least the 3rd time this season where they panned to some crazy dressed fan in the stands, and Braggs was like, "Oh yeah, that guy's like my uncle."
Say he was my uncle.
I know that guy.
He's like, "Oh, I know that guy.
I know that guy.
The guy with the cheese head and the chains and the
And
jersey."
He was also right.
Yeah, his name's Steve Tate. He's the Packer fan you always see at every Packer game, and then when they show him at Bears games, he sits next to Bear Man.
We don't care.
They're super fans.
Yeah.
Steve Tate.
He's a nice guy.
Will Gottlieb
Packer
just walked
fan.
in. Will Gottlieb is here getting ready for Bulls basketball. Bulls Sacramento. Let's go. Thanks for coming to
When
the
the
tailgate
Bears
today.
beat the Packers and won the division in 2018, he was very gracious about it, so I give Steve respect.
There we go. The Packer fans who came to our tailgate today were awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, we're sitting there yelling "Green Bay suck," and they actually chimed in. They were doing it too. Green Bay sucked.
So that one time the Bears beat the Packers 4 years ago, he was nice about it.
He was great.
That was the last time they beat the Packers.
Next up on the notes
great
was
day.
I bet the Packers Adam Hoge easiest money ever. The pass to Nikhil, that's what Nikhil does, which I thought was a little tall. That there's actually
No, that's what he does.
Nikhil does nothing.
That is what
No,
he does.
catches the tough catches. That's all he does.
Right. An EQ.
Go back. You
an
need
EQ
someone.
and
Someone
Pettis
send
lose
Nikhil
the
a
game.
Nikhil Harry Arizona State highlight tape to him.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
I'll-
that's what
I'll-
he
I-
does.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, that's what he does. I just want
does.
to. I just thought it was a little tall for Nikhil at this point, but that's fine.
It's a great catch. Ball was on his helmet.
The 3rd and 5 handoff came with 12:23 left. And we were saying at the time, do you think the Packers would run there on 3rd and 5? No, of
No,
course.
and they had a 3rd and 5 on the next drive, and they didn't run.
Yeah, and my last two notes are great D by Sanborn, and that will wrap her up. I said nothing the rest of the game. I just stood there with my mouth open at how bad that ending was.
Jerk.
Yeah. Yes, Greg.
I just want to, the Bengals, they were 4-11
The
and
band
won,
from the 80s?
and then they
the
got
Bengals?
to the, Super Bowl.
Susanna Hoffs?
They didn't learn to win, but they found out that Joe Burrow was a great quarterback, and then they were in the Super Bowl the next year. They got a top 10 pick with Jamar Chase. Seemed to work out well for them. The Eagles, they were 4-11 and 1, ironically enough, too, a couple years ago, and then since then they made the playoffs last year, got to the wild card. This year they're 11 and 1, look unbeatable.
Preaching to the choir, baby. Preaching to the choir. The Bears are winning the Super Bowl next year.
Traded up. Teams traded up to their pick. They have extra first-round picks. They're 11 and 1 with a top 10 pick going into next year.
Listen.
Pretty good.
We are bracing ourselves for the most exciting offseason in the history of Bears football. That's what's coming up. I can't wait. But for now, we go into the bye week and get ready for 4 more games. But sure, I'm with you, man. It's all on the table. They could be great next year. It's a zillion things they got to be
great.
I think the question is, do they lose out?
Will be great next year.
Do they lose out is a fair question too.
Real quickly before we get out of here.
Today was a good loss for
I wanted to go through some of the other games that matter for that. Just so the Bears still are second. A Denver loss would have helped. They ended up choking again.
Denver win.
I'm sorry, a Denver win would help because they're still at 3 wins, and they couldn't get that done.
Come on, Denver, you jerks.
The Rams need a win.
Yeah, jerks.
Come on, DNVR.
DNVR one time, RK. Get a victory.
They got Deion Sanders.
Colorado's doing their Deion presser in the middle of the Broncos game.
Come on, Colorado. What are you doing?
What's happening?
That's how much they don't care about the Broncos now.
That's not true.
It is true. They're mad at the Broncos.
They might be mad, but
they're very mad
they
at the
love the
Broncos.
Broncos.
Seahawks 14, Rams 13. If you're watching with us live right now, so that's early third quarter. We'll if the Rams win that one, that helps the Bears. Those are the other 3 win teams right now. So
yeah,
New Orleans plays tonight.
I have no idea.
I think
honestly,
those 2 games.
Kurt, I'm the most positive guy going. How dare you say that I would ever complain when the Bears win the Super Bowl? Bears.
Jacksonville got smoked today. That didn't help. Vegas, I think, is tied.
The Lions, man, are playing good football.
Carm was going around the tailgate lot shaking hands with people saying next year or the year after the Bears are winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, he was actually doing that.
I did do that, and it was a great tailgate, and I had a lot of fun. Bears.
Stop saying Super Bowl.
Come to our next tailgate for Bears Eagles, and let's have some fun. What are you looking at?
We're doing another one. It was so cold.
Yeah, can we?
I love every single one of you.
Another one. They're
all right,
great.
let's go. It was. I had a great time.
Can we
Bears
end on
fans
this?
Aren't worried about
Let's
that.
end on.
Mr.
What are we ending on?
guy.
We're ending on the fact that Aaron Rodgers had a bruised rib cage, and you couldn't touch him.
Couldn't touch him.
Couldn't touch him.
Like, that's just
Didn't touch him.
number one problem,
Wouldn't
number
touch him.
one thing that needs to be fixed immediately. Not immediately. This offseason. It's not getting fixed during the bye week.
They have a lot of number one things they need to have fixed.
No, I think that's the top of the list, though. You got to have a pass rush.
Yep.
You have a quarterback that came in with bruised ribs, and you couldn't even get a finger on him. That's
Not a
ridiculous.
finger. Shout out to Mike.
Get out of here. All right, we're out of here.
Reference.
Follow us on Twitter, at Adam Hoge, at The Carm, at GBraggs Jr. 23.
Great job, everybody, today. Those who came out to the tailgate, those who commented in the chat, those who
Produced
just
the shows.
viewed the show and hung out.
All the super chats.
We love every single one of you, and better days
Hit
ahead.
that like button on the way out. We
Hit the like
appreciate
button on the way
everyone
out.
showing up.
Yeah.
We still got 700 people watching
know.
this show live all the way through.
Only 170 likes. Let's get
Hit
some
the
more
like
likes.
button. We'd appreciate it.
And shout out to Ryan for the Greta Van Fleet comment and
Can I just stay here till tomorrow at noon?
fundamental thing.
Sure, you could stay there,
If
but
you
we're
hit
gonna
the like
leave.
button, ladies and gentlemen, we will lock Carm out on the patio until tomorrow at noon.
Problem with this band is they sound too much like Robert Plant. Too much like the greatest band ever.
Okay.
That's somehow a negative? Makes no sense.
It's because they're not even remotely original. They're very much a parody.
Rise and shine, Bears fans. Sure, you lost another game to the Green Bay Packers.
End it.